Today on Upfront, a call for impeachment. Next, the Wisconsin congresswoman who says it's time for President Trump to go.
This is all about integrity and about our democracy. This is beyond partisanship.
I'll ask Gwen Moore if she really thinks Republicans will impeach their president. Then fast forward for Foxconn. The bill clears the Assembly today. State Senator Alberta Darling on whether the Senate will seek to change the deal. Plus, Foxconn and the environment, why some advocates are worried and what they plan to do about it.
Covering the issues important to Wisconsin. This is Upfront with Mike Goucher.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Upfront. He won Wisconsin, but one of the state's top elected officials says she's seen enough and wants to force President Trump from office. The president's comments that both neo-Nazis and counter-protesters were to blame for last weekend's deadly violence in Charlottesville, Virginia, drew criticism from Democrats and some Republicans. It also led to a new call for his impeachment. Milwaukee Democratic Congresswoman Gwen Moore went on Twitter with this statement. My Republican friends, I implore you to work with us within our capacity as elected officials to remove Donald Trump as President of the United States. Representative Gwen Moore joins us now on Upfront. Congresswoman, it's good to have you back on the program.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mike.
So why does Donald Trump need to be impeached, in your opinion?
Well, you said impeached. That was your word. Impeachment takes a long time.
All right.
I want him removed as soon as possible, using our Constitution and the tools that we have, perhaps even the 25th Amendment, because I think Donald Trump has come undone. He is exhibiting all of the signs of a breakdown, which if you're having a breakdown, that's fine. You need the care. But we cannot afford to have him as commander-in-chief, and because I believe he's incapacitated. Senator Corker from Tennessee has made statements along the same lines.
About his stability.
That he is not stable. I would imagine that the whole Russia thing, as he puts it, has imposed a great deal of stress on him, and he's demonstrating it. I'm concerned about our international relations, but when you can't denounce neo-Nazis and the KKK, and you're going to double and triple down on these things, it's a real demonstration that you're really not in touch with history, with reality, with what it means to be the president of all of the United States, and I think it's a real sign that that he's lost it.
Do you feel any better that Steve Bannon has apparently been ousted from the White House, happening on Friday? Does that make you feel any better?
Well, I feel real good that Steve Bannon is gone, and now I just think Donald Trump needs to go. I called for Steve Bannon to be gone even before they got started, because I had never heard anyone invoke Satan as he did. I was not a follower of Breitbart News, so I didn't know that much about Steve Bannon. But I always saw him as a dark element. But I'll say that I saw, the body language of Donald Trump. And it seems to me that he was articulating his own vision and his own point of view regarding giving cover to white supremacists. And of course, he always needs someone to blame. And so I guess it's good that Steve Bannon is gone so he can blame him. But I say, Donald Trump, it's time for you to go. And my Republican colleagues, I think behind closed doors, they may be saying it. I said, come on out of the dark. He's got to go. Really,
though, only a few Democrats have even called for example, impeachment. Why would you expect Republicans to come out and do that now?
Well, you want to know something? I often tell people that I really like Paul Ryan. And the reason I believe that I like him is because I see some integrity behind that person. And this is all about integrity and about our democracy. This is beyond partisanship. I'm not likely to agree with Republicans on all things, on many things. But I think this is an area of agreement. We are in peril in the world in terms of nuclear warfare, in terms of racial warfare, and civil second civil war here, and I think that we still have the leadership to bring us together as Americans, and Republicans ought to know that.
Let me push back, though. You probably hear this argument that Donald Trump, during the campaign, was a disruptive force, and that the Donald Trump we're seeing today doesn't sound all that different than the Donald Trump who was candidate Trump, and that people in this country elected him. You may not like what he says or how he says it, but should he be removed from office?
Well, he was elected, duly elected, through a constitutional democratic process, and I want to use that same constitutional democratic process to remove him. I want Donald Trump to be subjected to some sort of analysis about his mental capacity, about his emotional status to be able to serve. Now, Mueller and the House and Senate investigations, God bless them, they need to continue to do that work. But I think the problem is more immediate than that. And I don't want to be sitting here the day after, he, pushes the nuclear button or starts some broader civil war across the country, as a Republican, to say, boy, I wish I had acted.
I really only have time for maybe one question, but I do want to follow up on something you said. There's the 25th Amendment that's available, but my understanding of that is that requires the vice president, the majority of the executive branch, 2/3 vote of Congress, to basically say that the president is unable to discharge his duties, that he's unfit for office. Given our polarized politics, Congresswoman, do you really think that Republicans
are going? You got to
going?
start somewhere, Mike. We need to admit that we made a mistake. This is a democracy. We elected him, and we need to start by admitting that we have made a mistake and he needs to go. I don't want to wait a year for him to be impeached, which I think we'd be successful in impeaching him eventually. I don't know if I could take another 1,250 days, but who's counting?
Congresswoman Gwen Moore, the Democrat from Milwaukee. It's good to have you back on the program. Thanks very much for being with us. Appreciate it. The Foxconn deal moves forward. Will state senators try to change it? I'll be asking Republican State Senator Alberta Darling coming up next on Upfront. And later, Foxconn will use huge amounts of water. Why environmental advocates are concerned about the deal. That's when Upfront continues.
Upfront with Mike Goucher, brought to you by the American Transmission Company and the Wisconsin Corn Growers Association.